Now, I'm delighted to say it's time for Denya's Delights. Mr. Steve Denya joins me this morning. We're hot-footing it from Virgin Radio.
It's a delight to be here. Hello.
It's always lovely to see you. Always lovely to see you.
Always the start of the weekend when I'm with you.
Now, this is... I saw you on an election, on the American election programme here on Talk.
Yeah, it was so exciting. So I came in, you know, Mike Graham did the overnight show. By the time I was booked in to do a little piece at 3:30 in the morning, it was directly after
3:30 in the morning?
Yeah. Wow. So I went to bed, woke up, came back in, and we just kind of... We were just on the back footing of North Carolina and the results there. I remember Mike Graham said, you know, I think this is going to be bad news for Kamala. And the tension started to ramp. And by the time I went home, I was home, you know, at 5 a.m. Then all the action started to happen.
So, yes, that's right. So I remember, so it was called, what, 7:15 or thereabouts in the morning, wasn't it, at our time? But... What do you make of that? I was just talking about the role of social media there and all of these influencers and Trump and his son clearly harnessed that to their great ability. And then you say Kamala did have people like Taylor Swift, and then she roped in Oprah. And these are kind of much older celebrities, but obviously having a celebrity, whether it's YouTube or whether it's someone who is known to be a performer or whatever, or a singer, is crucial.
Well, or is it?
Or is it?
It's really interesting. It didn't work for Hillary Clinton in 2016.
It didn't work for Kamala.
Yeah, and Kamala had pretty much the same, you know, plethora of celebrities. I think, having been to the States, you know, for a few times in recent years when Biden's been in, and seen how much things cost, that was pretty much on most people's minds. Do you want a millionaire stroke billionaire preaching at you, telling you who you should vote? I think most people were like, well, you know, you do you.
Well, not only that, it's all very well being on the West Coast and living in a multi-million-dollar home.
Yes.
But I can't afford to put food on the table.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? It's really interesting. So there's been a massive fallout, mainly with late show talk hosts.
Right. So talk us through this, because I kind of missed this. Jimmy Kimmel, what did he do originally?
OK, so I'm going to play you something. This is how he started his show. He opened his show on, I suppose it would have been Wednesday evening after the election results, and got very emotional and said this.
Let's be honest, it was a terrible night last night. It was a terrible night for women, for children, for the hundreds of thousands of hardworking immigrants who make this country go, for healthcare, for our climate.
Pathetic. But also, immigrants voted for all those people who came to the States, who've made the States their homes. They voted for Trump. But also, that is not a political show.
No, exactly. And you've got all the big, you know, the big hitters, these late night, they're all white men of a certain age, and they all said pretty much the same thing. And you have to think, hold on a minute, when you look at the results and you break down what happened, a big majority of the audience of these shows voted for Trump. So, do you know, you're in the game of ratings if you're going to do these shows. And they're completely offending half their audience. And also, do the audience tune into these shows? They want to be entertained. They want comedy. But basically, Elon Musk spoke out after seeing this and said some real kind of choice words. He said, Kimmel is an insufferable nonsense propaganda puppet. This was tweeted out on X. So Jimmy Kimmel went back on the following evening and said, well, at least my children like me. So it's been a kind of big beef. More was said last night. It's fascinating to watch. I think the chat show hosts have got it wrong.
So do I.
I think you need to look at what's happened. You need to look at these election results and the strength of these results in every area, don't you? And is it sensible to actually slate half of your audience?
No.
It's fascinating. But we wouldn't have that, I don't think, here.
No, we wouldn't.
We wouldn't.
Also, I said so last week, I said to Caroline Faraday that she was living in her liberal elite bubble in LA, on the West Coast. I think this lot are suffering the same thing, which is they can't see the bigger picture. They can't see what middle America is feeling. When you look at that picture of the United States, it's pretty much a red wash.
Yeah, it is.
And that's the bit I find fascinating. Either they've got this horribly wrong, or they don't care about the ratings, or they've got too big for their boots.
Yes.
In which case,
it could be all three, couldn't it? I mean, they reckon, you know, it's fascinating. I've been glued to all the channels all week, but they reckon the reason why the polling was so wrong is your average American is too busy. They're working their their socks off to try and make ends meet. So, you know, when these people get home and they watch these shows, it's hardly like you're watching somebody and you think, oh, that guy's got my back, or they're on the same page as me. It's fascinating.
And also the polls are always wrong because there are shy voters who never tell you exactly how they're going to vote anyway.
Yes.
Let's just break for the moment. I want to talk after the break about the Grammy Awards, and I went through all the nominees and I didn't recognise many of the names, actually. One I did know was Beyonce. And then I want to know what you tweeted me yesterday. And I
Paddington.
Want to know, well,
yes.
I want to know what Paddington 3 is all about. We'll talk about that in a minute with Steve after this break. Messages coming in. Steve Denyer here in the middle of his delight. So we were talking about the US election, then we segued into talking about Beyonce and celebrities and the Grammys.
Yes, Beyonce celebrating. The Grammys are in February. Traditionally what happens is they happen about kind of 3 or 4 weeks ahead of the Brit Awards. They're usually quite a good indicator of how things are going. But Beyonce made history by becoming the most nominated artist of all time at the Grammy Awards. I thought it was Taylor Swift. I got it wrong. Her and Jay-Z, her husband, are tied on 88 nominations each. Other people getting lots of... Let's see how many of these you know. Billie Eilish.
Yes, I know that name.
Kendrick Lamar.
No.
Post Malone.
No.
Charlie XCX. We're not doing well.
No.
Charlie XCX, as in Brat. The Brat Summer thing that was going on this year. Any ideas? Okay. Listen, the Beatles have also been nominated.
Right, yeah, no, before my
time.
time.
With you, but they, the Beatles had an AI-infused record. I'm trying to best it.
Is that terrible that I don't know who any of these are?
Well, you know,
or am I a certain age?
I'm being kind. I work for a music station, so it's my job to know when we play the songs and stuff. But
who do you like out of that lot?
Do you know what? Beyonce, I interviewed once, and I love her because she said to me, "You look hot." What? I was like, I beg your pardon. And she said, go, because I was wearing some brand new Timberland boots. She went, stand up for me and walk to the end of the room and walk back again. And she went, hot. So I'll take that. It was 20 years ago, but I'm still dining out on that effect.
Brilliant, though. Great story.
Love Taylor Swift. Saw her this summer. I think what she does is, and her fans are so kind of clean cut. The lyrics are intelligent. And she's just going from force to force. And when I went to see her live, it very much reminded me, you know, you and I went to see Madonna's Blonde Ambition tour in 1990, and that show, the Eras tour, was as big as that. You know, the kind of hype.
What is it about Taylor Swift?
I just think she's now got a back catalogue that's unrivaled, and she's also got enough money to put on these epic shows, and everything's so micromanaged. You know, the boyfriend's famous, and the family are part of the media machine there, and she seemingly does no wrong. And there've been lots of kind of, you know, stuff kind of thrown her way this summer with the Southport incident, with terrorism at the, you know, some of the stadiums, but she seems to kind of handle it right and be with the fans, and you know, the fans swap friendship bracelets. It's nice, it's
really
inoffensive,
sweet.
It's lovely, and we don't have a lot of that. So
no, we don't. That's a really good point, actually. Now, you went to see, now I've seen the trailers for this, Eddie Redmayne in The Day of the Jackal.
Yes, do you want to see a bit?
Yes.
Can we show you a bit? Have a look at this.
I will find him and I will kill him myself.
One man is not worth all this loss. I like to win.
So do I.
I just want to know who you are.
Oh, it's really good, this. I didn't know what to think. It's an adaptation of Frederick Forsyth's novel.
I think I
came out
remember
at
the original.
Of the 70s. This is everything that you would hope the new Bond movie would be. It's really high octane. It starts off with a haunting theme. It's got a theme song. It's 10 parts.
Right.
It's on Sky.
Is this Sky Atlantic?
Well, it's
across the
just
board.
Sky
I
Action.
think I started watching it and then fell asleep, but that's only because I was very tired. But that's really interesting casting, because I wouldn't have put him in that role.
No.
But you say he's brilliant.
Oh, he's absolutely... It starts off with him in disguise, playing this old German cleaner who's about 80 years old. And I would say the first 20 minutes is the best, most kind of high-octane thing I've seen for years. You are completely and utterly gripped, and you can't take your eyes off of him. It's mainly him causing chaos in the first 20 minutes.
I need to watch it again
really,
tomorrow.
really gripping stuff. I mean, I absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved it. They've been very clever. It's obviously cost so much money to make. I haven't seen Eddie Redmayne in this kind of role.
Well, that's what I meant about the
Stephen Hawkins in the past.
You see, yeah, and I never saw him like this. And we were talking about Bond. Would he be a contender to be Bond?
I don't think he would, but actually after seeing this, you could see it happening. You really could see it happening. I think my biggest fear seeing this was not believing Eddie Redmayne, because he's quite a slight character. And I thought, oh, can he really pull off the, the mean? But he totally can. It's really, really kind of high octane, on the edge of your seat stuff, and he's quite haunting actually. His appearance is really good.
I shall definitely watch
give it a go. Certainly, you'll be hooked after episode 1.
Ooh,
it's really
can't
good.
wait.
Really,
can't wait.
really good.
All right, and talking of can't wait, now Paddington, everyone's favourite bear.
Yeah.
Paddington 3. This is Paddington in Peru.
It is.
What did you think?
I loved it. I loved it. Everyone's saying, how could they do this after Paddington 2? Paddington 2, the last movie, got one of the best reviews of any movie in recent history. It just seemed to have everything, because it had Hugh Grant, it had the prison, it had Paddington in London. So I was a little bit nervous about seeing this. Listen, it's Paddington. Of course it's good. Can I play a bit?
Yes,
Let's
please.
have a look at the trailer.
Paddington, there's a letter from Peru.
Dear Paddington, it's your Aunt Lucy. She's gone, and we have no idea where she is.
She raised me when I was orphaned as a cub.
If you ever get lost, just roar.
I know I can find her.
It's not as if we can drop everything and fly to Peru.
I mean, what's not to like? You've got Olivia Colman.
I mean, let me
Hugh
read out who's in this. Hugh Bonneville, Emily Mortimer, Julie Waters, who's just brilliant as always, Jim Broadbent, Olivia Colman, like you say, Antonio Banderas is in it, Ben Whishaw.
I always think of him as the cat in Puss in Boots.
Yes. Every time you look at the screen, there's a huge actor in this. Now, listen, I'll probably give it 7.5 out of 10, right? The only reason it doesn't get above an 8, I think, the reason we like the first two Paddingtons is because he's set here in London, and I agree with that. And we can see, it's the bear who's come over here, and how he kind of, tries to kind of settle in and live in our system and stuff, and it makes London look amazing. The amount of tourists I've spoken to over the last couple of years who've come here because they've seen the UK in Paddington.
So there's a Paddington store in Paddington Station. I didn't realise. I walked past it the other day.
And there's a stone Paddington bear.
There is.
Which I think is right near Paddington, Platform 1. So this is interesting, this movie. It takes him out of London, and the whole family go to Peru, and that's why I didn't think it's quite as good as 1 and 2.
So some of the commentators were saying the script was disjointed, it didn't have the same resonance. Also, Ben Whishaw, who I heard being interviewed, I don't think he met anyone. I think he sat in a dubbing booth, met no one.
It's very clever how they've made the movie. Most of it is kind of computerised and on AI. What I would say, and here's the thing that nobody has mentioned so far, when you go and see this film, don't leave when the credits roll at the end. You've got to stay past the credits, because there's a lovely surprise right at the end. OK, everyone was leaving.
Don't tell us what it is.
Lovely surprise right at the end that harps back to Paddington 2 and back in London, and the bears being in London, and you just think, oh, what a lovely way to wrap this movie up. But half the cinema left.
Gone.
Or they,
So do I have to, because I can't remember Paddington 2, I don't even know if I saw it. Do I have to go back and watch both of those before I see this one?
No, you don't, because there's a lovely flashback in the first 10 minutes that takes you back to Paddington 1, right at the beginning. So it takes you back to why Paddington's in London in the first place and what happened in Peru for that
Lucy
to happen.
sent him, I think that was the
exactly.
reason.
And this is all about him trying to find Aunt Lucy. And look, it's a lot of fun. Olivia Colman's really amusing as well.
Yeah, she's brilliant.
We're used to seeing her in quite serious, maybe edgy roles, playing the Queen in the late Queen in The Crown. This is out and out fun. It's an hour and 40 minutes. You'll leave, I'll be 7 weeks to Christmas. You'll think, OK,
49 days.
This is the start of the Christmas countdown.
Yay.
Feel good.
Yes, feel good. Now, gigs tonight.
This is a good one. I always try and pick bands you've heard of. So how about this one? I think I'm doing well. UB40.
Yeah, never a
with
fan. Okay.
Soul to Soul.
Oh,
on
wow.
the same bill.
So someone who used to teach me singing when I was in the choir, her daughter sang with Soul to Soul.
Amazing.
Yeah.
They were the first band. I remember buying, I think the first CD I bought was their album Club Classics Volume 1 and 2. I remember putting it on and that sound of, you know, Back to Life.
Back to Life,
that crisp sound. I thought, oh, this is a game changer. And even the album now, those songs that Keep On Moving Back to Life came out in 1989. They were well ahead of themselves. They really
89.
were. 89. So those two bands, who I think changed a lot, on stage at the BP Pulse Live Arena in Birmingham, it used to be called the NEC, tonight. There are still tickets, and you can get a ticket for about 50 quid to go.
Oh, fantastic. So, hang on a minute. So that was the NEC, which everyone calls the NEC?
They change. Oh, goodness me, it's been Resorts World Arena. It changes year by year by sponsor.
By sponsor. OK, brilliant. Steve, always good to see you.
Thank you
very
having
much
me.
indeed. Steve Denyer there with What to See, What to Do, and talking about the Grammy Awards as well.